Well, I'm a recent new member of the Micro Four Thirds Club. I recently switched from my APS-C DSLR to a Panasonic GH3, largely because of its very good video, which I'm becoming interested in. So I needed to find a bag to carry all this stuff, something that I could just grab and go with and not leave anything behind. So what it needed to carry is the Panasonic GH3 itself with the 14-140 lens. Needed to carry my 7-14 wide lens, my 20mm f1.7 lens, which I leave in the little pouch that it came in. I also have a couple of filters I wanted to bring with me, a polarizing filter and a neutral density filter, a Canon 250D close-up lens, a blower brush in case the lenses get dirty, spare SD card, and a spare battery, and sometimes I also like to have a second spare battery as well. So I looked around at a bunch of bags, and this is the one that I found that I liked. It's a LowePro 160 AW. I'm just going to take this strap off. The strap, by the way, it has rotating attachments, which I always look for. That way you don't have to worry about getting the strap twisted so much. This bag, it's fairly standard. It's got 3 compartments inside, and these tabs are attached using Velcro. You can detach them and put them to whatever position you want. Although, frankly, there's not a lot of different positions you're likely to put them in, although you can adjust them a little bit for different size lenses. So the way I use this bag is I take my wide-angle lens, put it in one of these compartments, take the prime lens in its pouch, put it in the other compartment, and then the camera goes in right on top. And as you can see, there's a little bit of room on the top here, and that's good because I can just fold the strap up. Now this top will actually zip closed if you want. I actually rarely use it, but it's a nice secure zipped closing there. Instead, I just use the snap clip here. The snap clip is actually adjustable. You can let it out if you need a little bit more space, or you can cinch it up the way I usually use it to keep things snug. So in addition to the main compartments there's also a zip compartment on the top here where I usually keep my blower brush. There are some compartments up in the top here where I usually keep my SD memory card. And there's a compartment in the front here, and this is where I put my filters. Now there's a couple of mesh holders here. These are just barely big enough to hold the filters. A bit of a tight there, but it does work. And then in behind I can put the close-up lens and the spare battery. And that all fits in there pretty snugly. And in addition to those, there's a zip on the back here where you can put fairly flat things in here. And there are also some elastic pockets on the side here, on that side, and on this side, just in case you have something extra you need to carry. So that is the LowePro 160 AW. It's quite a nice compact size, and it holds all of that stuff, and it worked very good for me until I got this, the Panasonic 100-300 zoom. This is quite a big and fairly heavy lens. Now, when I first got this lens, I actually used this case with it. I found that I could, in fact, put the lens into one of these pockets. It does actually go, and the camera even fits in there as well. Now, of course, I had to take the prime out, but still. And I could fold the top up here and close the case up. And I could even take the prime lens and put it in one of these little side pockets. So this case was able to absorb that big lens and still work for me. But I was a little bit unsatisfied because this is kind of tight up in here. I was a little bit worried that it wasn't really going to work that well for me. So what I did was I went ahead and bought this case, which is the Nova 170 AW. Now, in terms of size, it's not that much larger. It's a little bit higher. It's almost exactly the same width, and it's a little bit higher. And that extra space worked really great for the big lens. So all of the other details are pretty much identical. It's got the same kind of pockets, the same all the same zip pockets and so on. But with this case, what I'm able to do is put the large lens into one side. I put the wide lens into the other side. The prime is actually small enough to go into the bottom of the middle compartment, and the camera with the 14-140 fits in on top, and you can see that there's a bit of space in the top here so that I can fold up the strap, and there we are. So that's the bag that I use to carry my equipment around. I should probably mention that both of these cases also have this weatherproof cover, which fits over the case and is supposed to protect it from rain. I don't really know if that's the way it's really supposed to go. I never use this, so I'm not going to comment on its effectiveness, but it's there if you want it. And if nothing else, this goes in the front of the case and provides some extra padding in case you whack the case against something. So all of that gear fits into this case, 7 millimeters to 300 millimeters, plus the fast prime lens. And we even still have a couple of pockets left over here for extra stuff. And in fact, I found that I can take my Merlin Steadicam, and when I fold it up, I can actually stick it into this pocket, just like that. And that's a pretty compact package for a nice stabilized video system with a lot of versatility. So I hope this has been helpful to you. I've found this case to be really work well for me, and perhaps it will for you too.